has been traded from New York to Chicago. Pretty much just a lateral move here. I am going to grab the video link real quick, and then we'll be ready to go. We are live now, and I'm going to grab that link. Hopefully that's the right one. It is. So there we go. Okay. And we're going to keep going. So I took everybody's advice last night. Oh wow, Dylan Cousins traded to Colorado in this game mode. Crazy. I took everyone's advice last night and deliberately tanked the team, as you could see at the end. Like, we got rid of a handful of players. I did have to make the defense a little better because I only had 4 NHL quality defensemen. I think the next highest was like 74 or something like that. So this is what the lines are looking like. So obviously you can see no more Tenel. And Conacher was the other big one, and then maybe there were a couple other players that didn't want to sign. So here we are, Bach, Aho, Svechnikov. It's still a very good forward core. Rabbit, Suzuki, Looper, Taylor, Suzuki, Laksinen, and then Sergei Tarasov, Joseph McCarron, and Braden Barker. Does this make the team any better? Wow, no, it actually makes it a lot worse. I did have to hire a new coach, and it doesn't look like anybody's fitting here. But so Braden Barker is a prospect, so this is definitely a lot worse. Medium top 9 forward. Yeah. So the fourth line is a little better because McCarron is now 2 overall points high. Yeah. So I may actually end up switching he and Laxinen, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Defense, we've got Meg and Fost. So obviously Conacher did not want to sign. I did have to trade for Fabro. I had to sign Nokalainen, and then I traded for Michael Goodrow as well. I'd prefer that, actually. I traded Shea Theodore, who was 80 overall. So I did make one little upgrade to the defense, but overall this isn't a great defense. So, and then here's the goaltending situation. We are still a playoff team, pretty obviously, but I'm happy with the changes that I've made. I definitely think that the team is nowhere near as good, and so hopefully that'll mean that we can start losing a few more games and not make it as boring. Aho is also 88 overall, medium top, exact top 6 forward, so he might actually, Suzuki might take his place this year as a better player, but we'll see. We'll have to see what's going on. But yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy. Like I said, I did have to hire that coach, and that is it. New head coach. And we'll go to December 1st. We'll see how well the team does. And Detroit has made a trade. A big one. Don't ask me to pronounce that guy's name, but he has been traded to Tampa. And nothing too crazy going on here. Colorado just signed defenseman Jacob McDonald in real life to a 2-year contract. No idea who that is. We're getting a trade offer. Again, I'm not trying to make any trades that make the team better. I just made the trade because it was getting another created player, on the team. So while I'm doing this, let's just look up who the player from Colorado is. That way I can see. What type of player he is. Nothing too crazy. I didn't hire or fire any scouts. Alright, so we started the season off with a win. That's our home opener against Dallas. Back-to-back shutout wins to start the year. Man, 3 straight wins. Okay. Alright, so this is a depth signing for Colorado. He's mostly just a He's solid AHL depth, man, on the back end. Offensive defenseman for sure. All right. Well, cool. That's what's going on in life. Dominic Bach out with back spasms. Looks like that'll be keep him out for about 2 weeks. It's really bright in my room. I'm gonna close my blinds. I can barely see the TV. So 4-0-0 to start the season. 5-0-0 now. This isn't what I expected. I was kind of hoping that the team would be a little worse. But you know what? That's okay. There we go. We lose our first 2 games of the year to Winnipeg and the Islanders. Bach is back, and he'll be playing a game a day before he was expected to return, so that's not too bad. Central Scouting, we know nothing about any of the players. So yeah, there's that. We're gonna go gems and busts. Nothing too crazy here. Next time I do create the franchise mode, I will add in David and Jason Cotton. Probably gonna make David Cotton a medium top 9 forward potential, probably at about 74 overall. And then I'm going to make Jason Cotton probably a medium AHL top 6. Or, yeah, medium AHL top 6, around the same overall. Laxtonen's out with an injured arm for about a week, so we do have to put in a scratch on defense. A player for Charlotte is out, but again, you know, still a solid season from the team so far. I think now at the end of this year, I'm going to kind of do the same thing and let go of the players who don't want to sign extensions, other than the ones that I want to retire as Hurricanes. So, like, Aho and Svechnikov are going to have to stay because I want those guys to retire Hurricanes. I may consider keeping Bach, but I don't know. Emilio McCann, goalie. No, goaltending I am more than fine with right now. So 9-4-0 after October is a very good start for the Hurricanes. We are looking to make the playoffs again. I'm hoping that the changes I made to the team end up making it better, or, like, you know, making it more of an exciting what was I gonna say? I hope it makes it more exciting in the playoffs. Like when we win a exciting, not I kind of expected that. Um, Goodness. Just looking at Twitter. Nothing too crazy going on right now. It's more of a casual stream right now because it is the middle of the day. It's 3:30. Ooh, couple losses here. All right, so the team is losing more games, which is kind of, you know, weirdly enough, it's what I wanted to happen. I want to have a few seasons when we can tank because the salary cap is off, and I want to find ways to handicap my team and not have them be like super competitive every year. Um, but there's a big win getting us back on the winning track against Chicago with a 6-2 win. Good draft year, which is good, and we lose to the Capitals again. So 2 losses to the Caps this month. And we play Columbus and we lose to them, so we are out of a playoff spot now, actually. 12-10-1, that's to be expected. It's been a rough month. They want to trade us Jared McCann again. So McCann was on our team last year, and I didn't want him. Another loss, this time to the Islanders. So we can't beat the Metro teams, it looks like, other than Philly. We shootout loss to Buffalo, so we're 4 points out of the wild card spot right now, which is not good. And then a loss to Buffalo. Man, okay. But like I said, I wanted this team to be less competitive. It does look like we win against Boston there, because I did see our point totals. Yeah, overtime win against Boston. So we're 2 points out of a playoff spot. 13, 12, and 2. So we're barely over 500. I think it's a slow start for the team, so I think I'm just going to keep simming. We had a really good start to the year, and then November kind of derailed us a little bit. But 7-1 win against Nashville here. and a long break, which I'm not too big of a fan of, but hopefully, some of the teams ahead of us can play some games and lose them. That way, we get some games in hand. New Central Scouting rankings. Hopefully we know a little bit more about these guys. Yeah. Alright, so we know that there is a medium elite player in Willie Wall. More than likely a two-way forward. He's a left winger from the USA West. Actually, not that impressive of a prospect. It looks like he's NHL ready, but I would say that he's maybe 80 overall at best. Goal scoring, leadership ability, magic hands. No comparables. Okay. And then we'll check the gems and busts. And nothing still, so not too surprising. It is only December, but hopefully next month we'll have a gem or bust. So it's a pretty tight race in the Metro. We are in 6th in the division, I did see. Another guy for Charlotte is out. No, I don't need any help. I'm not trying to make the team better. I'm trying to make the team worse, which sounds really weird. A wildcard spot with some wins here, with a big 5-4 win against the Maple Leafs and a 7-5 win against Detroit. So nice. Back in that wild card spot. We have a 4-game win streak going on heading into our game against Los Angeles. It's a nice 3-game homestand that starts with an 8-2 win. Wow. So offense still is not the issue, which is good to hear. And looks like Charlotte gets their player back. If I recall correctly, he had a pretty decent season last year. There we go, another win, and so the win streak was at 6, and can we beat Vegas? Oh man. They want to trade us Anthony Honka, who we had, I don't want to say given up on. We kind of give up on him, and now he's an 84 overall. How has he done offensively every year? So he actually hasn't done that well offensively. And he was playing in Charlotte most of the time. He didn't play a single game for us, that's right. And then, so his career high in points is 24. So that's really not that great. I'm kind of okay that we got rid of him. And Philip Hronek as well, who is an 80 overall. He wouldn't play. I don't want to say yes to that trade. That's a really dumb trade for us to make, but, happy to see how Honka is doing and how I'm not really all that disappointed that we traded him. I see that AHL top 6 forward, and I see me giving up a first round pick, and I say no. So that win streak does end in Vegas, at home against Vegas with a 5-4 overtime loss. And wow, Detroit gets a first round pick and a prospect for Anthony Honka, and Florida gets Honka. So good stuff for Florida. And we actually had just played Florida and beaten them, and then we beat Columbus the next night. So we're still in a playoff spot, still holding on to that wild card spot, and then another win against Philly. So that's a big one, beating the Metro teams, and the Flyers are first in the division, so that's a big win. Anytime you can beat a team ahead of you, that's good. And another win against Dallas. So now this has been a really good month for the Canes. We are 5, 1 overtime loss, another 5 wins. So we were 10-0-1 in that month, which was kind of insane. We do lose our first regulation game in a while against New Jersey. That's a team that I would have liked for us to beat because they are ahead of us in the standings. Big games against Washington this month too. We play Washington twice and Philly again. So win against LA, which is really good to see. I think we've swept the season series against LA and Anaheim. Big win against Anaheim. Both 4-2 wins, which is nice. Shootout loss to the Capitals, so they are behind us only by a point now, though. So they do catch up a little bit, and they actually overtake us because they beat us 5-1. So we definitely have a hold over the division, at least from our division standpoint. We have a 12-point lead over Columbus, but that game on the 28th will be pretty important because we can increase that lead. 4 straight losses, and that finally ends against St. Louis. So we get another 4-2 win. Definitely more of a rough month for the Canes, though. 3 wins and 5 losses, and then 1 overtime loss as well. I don't want to make that trade. They're trying to get rid of Hronek still, and this time they dangle Bachfist and Alex Tuck as well. Wow. No. Still going to say no. And then another win against Montreal. We're going to view the draft class. Okay, so we still know, and the guy projected to go third overall is a high top 6 forward. You don't see a whole lot of high top 6 forwards in this game. Still no gems, which is a little interesting. Doesn't look like my scouting department has been able to find a whole lot of players here, unfortunately. Caden Kapusta here, injured foot. That's for Charlotte, so that's not too big of a deal. Everybody, I believe, is 30 now, so everybody is 30 years old in the sim, because everybody's birthday is January 1st, the default option. So it's going to be about 5 more seasons after this one where we start seeing players retire. 2 big Metro wins, though, once again against the Blue Jackets and then once against the Penguins. 29-17-4, so still a good record, but as you saw, we are, clinging on to that wild card spot. I believe we might be third in the division. I'm waiting for it to load. Yeah, so wild card spot, 3 points out of third in the division, so that's kind of what I wanted to see here. We're going to send to after the trade deadline, March 1st, see what's going on. I'm not going to make any moves to improve the team. I don't think I'm ready to make moves to not improve the team. Playoffs are still the goal, but let's check out this Talinder guy. I just want to see. I'm not going to trade for him. He's 25, 80 overall, and they want a first-round pick for him. First-round picks in this game, I guess, after a while, they just get devalued so much. Matthew Robertson, some guy with the last name Semin, traded to Anaheim, and Detroit gets a second-round pick and a prospect, so not really that big of a trade. Ooh, Aho's out for over a month with an MCL sprain. Good opportunity for Ryan Suzuki to get more ice time, but losing our first-line center is tough. And they want to trade us to Neil Chayka? No. I'm saying no to that trade. Chayka was a pick of the Hurricanes. Never really panned out to be an NHL player, unfortunately. Goalie, who's the name Plant, has headed to St. Louis from Montreal, and we just beat Montreal, so I'd like to think that that's the thing that did him in. So at least 3 straight wins. That does end against New York. It was actually a 5-game winning streak with the games against Columbus and Pittsburgh. But big 7-3 win against the Panthers there. Nice. And 2-1 loss, so that's unfortunate. Jesper Bratt and Philip Hronek head to Vegas, so Detroit does finally trade Hronek. They get 2 prospects for it, so not too bad of a haul for Detroit. And another injury for Charlotte. So Charlotte's had a lot of injuries this season, unfortunately. The Canes have had... The only big one has been Aho. I mean, Bach missed a handful of games at the start of the year, but, it's okay. Man, 20-point lead over 5th in the division, so there's definitely a big gap in the amount of strength. That's ridiculous. A 79 overall player, and Duar is in his 30s now, at 79 overall, and a 3rd-round pick, and Vancouver gets a 1st-round pick. That's a horrible deal for Philadelphia. Another loss to the Rangers, so they are behind us, which is good. Wyman and a 4th for a prospect and a 2nd. So Pittsburgh sells a little bit. They're still, at the bottom of the division, but it's actually good for us because, oh wow, they're the worst team in the division. So they get a little worse just in time for us to play them. And do we beat them? Probably not. No, we do. Okay, 5-2. Not too bad. And then we beat the Islanders the next night. The Islanders are still behind us again, so that's good as well. And Rasmussen and Foote heading to Calgary. Chicago gets 2 prospects. Nothing too crazy. I'm saying no to this. Hopefully, Vancouver can make a trade, but I don't want to make any moves. None whatsoever. Done making trades. I made 1 trade in the offseason, and that was it. So 77 points. So Josh Williams, A player named Matthews and Kiefer Bellows heading from Nashville to Los Angeles. Nashville gets a right winger, Narena, who's actually 84, so they get the better player. A 4th-round pick, Siegenthaler, and a 5th-round pick. That's an interesting trade. Josh Williams is obviously a little older, and same with Bellows, but I wonder if that Matthews player is a little younger. If not, then Nashville definitely gets the better player. Nope, gonna say no to all trades. So 3-2 win against Detroit the day before the trade deadline, and then we get shut out by Boston. So 79 points, still in a playoff spot. Pretty confident that we will remain in that playoff spot, but we will sim to the end of the season, and we'll sim through that game against the Devils. Sebastian Aho is back, so that's big news for the Canes. They get one of their better players back. Hopefully a Hall of Famer. I think Aho has definitely had a very good career. Oh, he's out until April 8th, so he's definitely missed a lot of this season. But he'll be back before the end of the season by the playoffs. So when he comes back, I may just hold him out. And Nick Suzuki is out with a strained hamstring, so the Canes have lost 2 of their centers. New draft rankings in March. We know most about almost every player. And we know one player is a bust, and he's projected to go at the end of the first round, which, that's not good. So we've found one bust. Nick Suzuki is back, so that's good news for us. He really didn't miss that much time. Dallas has fired their coach, Kenny Albert, so Dallas being one of the teams to fire their coach this year. Ooh, lots of losses. 3 losses in a row, man. Ryan Suzuki is out with a sore knee, so the Canes are missing 2 of their top centers. That's a loss for Charlotte for sure. And Will is out with injured ribs. Luckily, we've clinched a playoff spot, so we are making it to the playoffs. Ryan Suzuki is back now. And Sebastian Aho is out. Don't know when he came back. And we'll just sim through this game real quick, and then I do have to leave. So it's actually a 20-minute stream. I probably shouldn't have even started. But Suzuki scoring, Tarasov scoring, Taylor and Meg scoring goals as well. So short stream. We'll start off with the playoffs next time. Canes had 95 points, and Svetch leading the way. Was a point per game player. So good stuff. All right. So we'll save and exit, and we'll kick off with the playoffs next time. Sorry it was a short stream today.